Hello everyone, hope you're all having a lovely day. I'm looking forward to the Silver Swan session that we're about to do. So today's session, if you haven't joined in my classes before, today's session is suitable for absolute beginners. This is Silver Swans is an amazing initiative by the Royal Academy of Dance, and the ballet class is specially designed for the over 55s. But whatever your age, if you feel as though this is the appropriate speed of class for you, you're more than welcome to join us. Like I said, today's class is suitable for absolute beginners, so we'll be explaining everything right from the start. Before we begin, just check that your space is clear of any obstacles. Check you've not got any dogs out the way, things like that. And also just check that your flooring's not slippy. So just be careful which footwear you're using. For the session, you're going to need to use something as a ballet bar. A sturdy chair will be absolutely fine. That's what I'm using. So we will get started. Please feel free to say hello in the chat. Hi, I can already see some people saying hello. And we shall get started. So we'll begin. Well, first of all, let me just take off my jacket. We'll first of all begin with our warm-up. So if you've joined in my sessions before, then hopefully you'll know these warm-ups. If you haven't, they're nice and easy to follow along with, and you can just join in with them. If you haven't got enough space to walk around in a circle, then you can just walk on the spot. Following along, we will start off with our warm-up. So, feet together. Okay. Oh, sorry, the speaker's switched off, hasn't it? There we go. It's timed out. Okay, let's get started. Here we go. Off we go, walking round. Like I said, if you haven't got enough space to walk around, you can always just walk on the spot. Okay, now taking your hands up and bring them down and up. And down, and up, and down. Okay, let's come into the middle. Feet together, and we'll put our hands in front. Nice big bend and stretches. And bend and stretch. Bend and stretch. Bend and stretch, taking both hands behind you. And into the middle, both hands behind you. And into the middle, now swaying to the side. It doesn't matter which side. We just want to take a nice big bend and stretch. Just getting our arms moving and getting our legs moving. One more sway, feet together. Breathing in. And breathing out. Okay, good. A nice warm up to one of my favourite TV programmes. I'm very glad it's coming back. So we shall do our second warm-up now. So for our second warm-up, this is specifically for our feet. Again, if you've done my sessions before, then you'll know this exercise by now. We're facing our bar. So like I said, for your ballet bar, just make sure it's something nice and sturdy that won't wobble over. And we're going to face our bar to begin. So we want to make sure we're standing the correct distance away from our bar. So if you're too close, your elbows will be bent. If you're too far away, your elbows will be straight. We want them to just have a nice soft curve. And that's when we know we're the correct distance away. And our hands are just resting lightly on top of whatever your choice is for your ballet bar, whether it's a kitchen worktop, or whether it's a chair, or whether you have a ballet bar in your house. Okay, so we're going to get using the different parts of our feet. So we're going to lift our heels, so your toes are still on the floor, go into a point, demi-point, and down. Same with the other leg. To a point, demi-point, and down. Same again. To a point, demi-point, and down. Demi-point, to a point, demi-point, and down. Then pointing and flexing. Pointing and closing. Pointing and flexing. Pointing and closing. Same again. Pointing, flexing, pointing, and closing. Pointing and flexing and pointing and closing. Okay, so we're really using the different parts of our feet, just getting them warmed up, really, really good as well for also increasing the mobility in your feet and also strengthening them. So let's do our second warm-up, facing your bar. And semi-point, to a point, crease your shoe and down, heel lifts, toes point, and down, same again. Now we're going to point and flex our foot, just point it in front, flex your foot, point your foot and closing in, pointing and flexing, and pointing and closing, same again, and flex, and point, and close, one more, to finish. Okay, good. So we're going to start off now with our first exercise at the bar, which is our plies. So if you want to, got to keep our ballet bar there. Plie means to bend. Okay, so one of the first movements we learn in ballet, there's actually a very well-known saying that it's the first movement that you learn, but the last position, the last one that you master, because there's so much to think about with a plie, and it's the foundation for a lot of steps in ballet. So we're going to start off by going through the positions of the feet. There are 5 positions of the feet in classical ballet, and we're going to learn 3 of them for this exercise. So starting off with your feet together. In ballet, the rotation for turnout comes from your hips. So you're going to turn your toes away from each other, and it's the whole of your leg that's rotated outwards. So we're not just turning just our feet, it's the whole of the leg that has turned. And we want that first position, which is what we're standing in now, to feel nice and comfortable. We're not forcing our turnout too much. It should be like a right angle. That's normally a good starting position. You know, if you were stood on a clock, it would be 10 to 2 or 5 to 1. Your feet will be pointing towards. So just nice and comfortable. If you're finding that is too much, then you can make that first position even smaller. I've even taught people who use parallel while they're, you know, say maybe recovering from surgery, like knee replacement surgery. You can take the class in parallel as well. So feet in first position. Now, if you put a little space between your feet, again, we've still got our feet turned out. Just take a moment, check your feet are both matching, check you've not got one foot more turned out than the other, and you want your weight to be in the middle, so we're not leaning on one leg more than the other, and that's second position. You come back to first for a moment, and we're going to bring one foot in front, so the heel of your front foot is now touching the middle of your back foot, and that's third position. And we can have third position with either foot in front. So there you go. In the first 5 minutes of the ballet class there, you've learned 3 of the 5 very historic positions of the feet in ballet. So we've got first position, we've got second position, and we've got third position. You noticed I was pointing my foot whenever I was going to each of the positions there. That will become useful in a moment when we do our plie exercise. So facing your ballet bar. Again, we're setting ourselves up correctly at the bar as we did for the warm-up. So use your elbows as a guide for how close or far away you're standing. And we'll start off with our feet in first position. Now, one of the most important things that I always teach, I've been part of Silver Swans, I've been a Silver Swans licensee since its pilot program in 2017. You know, I do a lot of teaching online Silver Swans classes on Zoom, and you know, a lot of it we discuss about our posture and your balance as well. It's so good. That's the thing. People often think that ballet is just something, you know, for like little children and teenagers, but it offers so many benefits for people of all ages, and that's the really amazing thing about Silver Swans. So feet in first. Let's just take a moment to think about our posture. I want you to imagine your head is like a helium balloon that's trying to float upwards, but your feet are the weight that's remaining very grounded. So we've got almost like this two-way lift. That's one of my favorite pieces of imagery, that for helping with your posture. I think it just describes everything you need to stand with correct posture. Okay, so feet in first. We're going to take our plies now. So we're just going to bend our knees and stretch our knees. Whenever we take a plie, we keep our heels on the floor and your back stays nice and straight. So be careful you're not swinging your back forwards. Imagine you're balancing something on your head. So we'll take 2 demi-pliés, 1, and stretch, and 2, and stretch. Let's point our foot to the side and go to second position, just like we practiced before. Same in second, bending. We're doing our plie and stretch, plie and stretch, pointing your foot, and we'll close it in front into third position. Same in third position. So remember, your heel is in contact with the middle of your back foot. Plie, knees are going over your toes. So whether that's a small turned out position or whether you've got a little bit more turned out, knees are going over your toes. And stretch, so 2 pliés. I think I did 2 there, lost count. Then we close back into first position. And to finish off now, we're going to go into a little rise. So as I said, we work a lot on balance. So you can just take it just as a little lift of your heels off the floor. We describe that as our quarter point. Or if you want to, you can go all the way up to your demi point. So again, you know, in the warm-up when we did that exercise where we took our heel off the floor but your toes stayed on the floor, basically you're doing that but with 2 feet. So your toes are staying nice and relaxed, and what we want to make sure is that we're keeping our ankle in a nice straight line. Be careful you're not pushing onto your little toes. Imagine that the line is going down through your middle toe. And if you want to, you can just have a little test of your balance. If you want to keep onto the bar, then you can do. If you already know and have done some ballet before, you can balance with your arms in first position. Don't worry about it though if you don't know first position. I'll explain that later on in the class. Okay, so let's have a go at our pliés now. So facing the bar, feet in first position with that little balance at the end. And plie 1, and stretch, plie, and stretch. Now we'll go to second position, so pointing your foot, and we'll lower it down in second. Make sure your weight's in the middle, knees over your toes, plie, and stretch, plie, and stretch. Now let's go into third position. Into third, take a moment, think about your posture and that healing balloon trying to float upwards. And let's close back into first position, ready for that little balance. Okay, so lifting your heels up as high as you want to, and if you can just let go of your bar. Just it's there to catch you. If you need to get hold of the bar again, then you can do. And lowering down to finish off. Okay, ballet is very good for 2 things. First of all, it very much exposes your balance, but also it strengthens it as well, which is the most important part. So let's do our battement tendus now. So for this, you're going to turn to face your laptop screen. When we're standing with one hand on the bar, it's still the same with our elbow. We know we're too close if our elbow is bent, and we're too far away if our elbow is straight. We want it to just have a nice, soft curve all the time. And we want this hand to be in front of us as well. So just, if you stand absolutely to the side of your chair, put your hand on the bar, and then just take a step backwards. And that just pops your hand in front of you, and because of that, your shoulders can stay nice and relaxed, and we can keep a beautiful posture all the time. Your other hand, we're just going to put it onto our waist. Now, when we're doing exercises with one hand on the bar, we have our leg furthest away from our bar, which is your outside leg, and have your leg closest towards the bar, which is your inside leg. Your inside leg is going to have a little bit of a rest just for a moment, and all the work is going to be done by this leg furthest away from the ballet bar. Okay, so we're going to slowly point our foot in front and slowly close it back in. And that is a battement tendu, just pointing and closing. So it's like it's slowly growing into a pointed foot, and then it slides back in again. Your foot melts. Then we do exactly the same, but quicker. Out and in, demi-plie, and stretch, which we've just learned. Then we're going to repeat the exact same pattern, but going to the side. To the side, so we're keeping our legs nice and straight, closing in, quick, and close, plie, and stretch. Same again, but going to the back. Going to the back's the most difficult because your knee will want to bend, but we want to keep it nice and straight and strong. Quick, and close, plie, and stretch. Then that's enough for our work for our legs, so we're going to give our arms a turn. So this hand that's been on your waist is going to drop down to a position that we call barre. I'll discuss more about the arm positions later on. We're going to lift it all the way up in front, keeping your shoulder down. Open it out in a big circle to the side, and then put it back onto your hip. I do teach as a mirror image, so to make it nice and easy to follow along, if you want to put your ballet bar on the same side as me, it's much easier to follow along as a mirror image rather than trying to reverse it onto the other leg. Okay, so let's have a go at doing our battement tendus en croix, so in the shape of a cross. Feet in first position. And slowly going out. And in. And quick. And close. Plie and stretch, going to second. And closing in quick. And close, demi-plie. Now we'll go to the back, derrière. And close. Quick. And close. Plie and stretch, pour de bras. Let's use our arm. Shoulder down, nice long neck, opening out. And back. Okay, let's swap over our ballet bar to the other side. If you've got something fixed that you're using as your ballet bar, then you can just move your laptop to the other side so you can keep following along with the video. So feet in first position, we're going to repeat the exact same exercise, but with our other leg, because our other leg is now the outside leg. So we're going to use this one. So feet in first position, let's go. And slowly out. And in. Quick. And close. Plie. Let's go to the side. Nice, straight, strong legs. Keep lifting up nice and tall. We're still thinking about that posture. And we'll go to the back. Slowly out. Slowly in. Quick. And close. Plie. And using your hand, opening out to finish. Okay. Good. Have a quick drink if you want to. Let me just, I can see lots of comments coming in. Thank you everybody for joining me today. Hello, hello. Thank you so much for joining. Let me just click on that. There we go. Okay, that should be nice and clear. Right. Okay. So another exercise now at the bar. Again, we're going to face our bar for this one. And this is called a battement frappe. Battement frappe is amazing for strength, precision. Frappe means, you're probably thinking of a drink right now. Frappe, nothing to do with a drink. No, it's not a chance to go and have a quick drink. Frappe means to strike. And it is a ballet step. It's really sad, isn't it? It's kind of like an in-joke for dancers that we have a battement frappe, and you see these signs out, like, you know, saying frappe somewhere, and all dancers just have like a little bit of a laugh about it because it means something completely different to us. It's very sad, I know. So feet in third position. So we're facing our ballet bar. On the introduction, we're going to lift up our front foot. I'll just turn to face the camera. So your heel is on your ankle bone. Bit of an odd position to try and find, but it is very, very useful. So it's amazing for coordination as well, because we're going from a flexed foot to a pointed foot. And I always say it's a bit like a dart going into a dartboard. So you're going to lift up your foot. Do you remember where we were taking our foot to the side for our tendus? Well, this time we're just going to point our foot to the side. You want to bring it back in again? And we'll go again. So it's going out and in, out and in. So as we were closing it in there to the front of the ankle, we can also close it in to the back of the ankle as well. So it swaps every time. So it goes point, close, point to the back, point to the front. And it's actually pointing on the floor there. Have a go with the other leg as well. Point and in, point and in, point and in. Like I said, frappe means to strike. It's quite a strong step. This isn't a full frappe. This is like a preparation for one that I'm doing today. If you do know a frappe, then you can just take this as a normal frappe if you have done ballet before. So, feet in third position. Check you set up correctly at your bar. Very important. Because if you set yourself up wrong, it makes the exercise so much harder. Okay. So on the introduction, your heel lifts your ankle bone. We're going to take 3 Batman frappes. Out, to the back, out, to the front, out, to the back. Then we're just going to lower it down in third position and lift up your other foot at the front. And we're ready to repeat with the other leg. Out, to the back, out, to the front, out, to the back. Lower it down, lift it up, out, and in, and out, and in, and out, and in. One more time. You'll find you travelled away from your bar, so you might need to move back in a little bit closer, or start the exercise a bit closer towards your bar. What was I going to say about frappes? Yeah, the big thing is the coordination between a flex and a point. Remember that it's a flexed foot when it's on your ankle, and a pointed foot when it's at the side. And that's probably one of the trickiest things, not getting it the other way round. So feet in third. Let's give it a go for our Batman frappes, all about speed and precision. Coordination, posture, everything. Okay, feet in third. Let's give it a go. And out, and in, out, and in. Third one. Lower it down, lifting with the other leg. Second, and in. Point it on the floor, and in, on the floor. Let's go again. Point to the back, point and swap. One more. Just move it a bit closer if you need to. Out and in. Point. Flex foot, point foot. Flex your foot, lowering down to finish. Okay, good. Right, we'll do a final exercise at the bar now, which is your grand battements. We've already had the word battement before for our battement tendus. It's like a related step almost to a battement tendu. It's an extension of a battement tendu, but it's called grand battement, which literally translates as big beats. Okay, so feet in first position. Take a moment, check you set up correctly at the bar. If you remember, I said just move slightly behind whereabouts that hand is, and we'll place the other hand onto the hip. So if you remember when we did our battement tendu, we pointed our foot in front and then we closed it straight back in again. And we want our body to stay nice and still. Be careful when you take your foot forward that your body doesn't twist around with it. Shoulders and hips stay absolutely still. It's just from the hip socket that this movement is coming from. Okay, it's very good for just using specific muscle groups, just at a time. But of course, then when we put it all together, then that's when you get the beautiful dances and things. So, grand battement. I'll just go through the basic preparation for it first of all, so you can understand the tracking of your feet. You point your foot in front, and then from here, keeping it nice and straight and strong, we lift it up, it lowers to a point, and then we close it. Now, I said there's like 4 different points we have to think of through there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? 1. Lift 2. Point on 3. Closing on 4. The height of your leg does not matter. If you want to lift your leg up here, then you can do. But while you're learning, it's more important that we think about keeping our legs nice and strong. And so just a small lift is absolutely fine. Even if you don't want to lift your leg up off the floor and just take it as a count, just a weight, that's absolutely fine. Please feel free to adjust anything, and always, just do what you're capable, it feels safe to do. So, we're going to connect together those first 2 movements, and we're going to go swish, point, close, swish, point, close. I say it's a bit like a aeroplane going along a runway before it takes off. It can't just suddenly appear in the air. It has to fully extend before it lifts, and then it lowers to a tendu and closes it. So we're going swish, point, close. Have a go with the other leg as well. Swish, point and close, and wait. Swish and point and close, and wait. Okay, so we're going to take 3 grand back ones, and we're actually going to use our outside leg and our inside leg for this one. So feet in first position. Take a moment to think about your posture. And we'll start off with our outside leg to begin. Swish and point and close, and wait. Second one, point and close, and wait. Third grand back one, and wait. We'll take a demi-plie and stretch. Then we'll repeat it with the other leg. Swish and point and close, and wait, and a swish and point and close, and a wait, and a third one, point and close and wait. Demi-plie and stretch. Very good for mobility, strength, balance, posture, coordination, timing, musicality, enjoying your performance. So much just in one exercise. So let's have a go now at our grand back ones. Feet in first position. And swish and point and close. So we're sending it straight forwards. And swish and point and close. Demi-plie. Let's go with the other leg. And swish and point and close. Second one. Third. And demi-plie. And stretch. Okay, good. Like I said, today's class is aimed at absolute beginners, so we are explaining everything from the start. Obviously, Silver Swans, we have people who are absolute beginners, like some of you maybe who are joining in today, and then we also have some people who were ex-professional ballet dancers that I teach. Like I said, today's session is aimed at absolute beginners, but if you have danced before, please don't think that this is just the level that Silver Swans is taking at. I actually run them at a few different standards, the sessions that I teach on Zoom. But everybody always just takes the session according to how they feel on that day. Okay, so pop your bar away. Have a quick drink and we'll come back into the centre and we will continue with another exercise before we go on to our little sequence that we're going to learn just to finish off at the end of the class. Okay. Please feel free to add into the comments whereabouts you're joining in from today. I had my cup with swans on. Okay. Thank you so much for the lovely comments, everybody. So glad to hear you and you're enjoying it. My physio would approve of this. Excellent, yes. I've actually even had physiotherapists sign off my Silver Swans early from their physiotherapy because they knew that they were doing Silver Swans after they'd had like a joint replacement or something, because they actually regained the strength and mobility faster than intended, so they actually signed them off. So yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for joining in, and thank you for writing in the comments, everyone. Glad to hear you're all enjoying the session. Right, still got some more to come yet, so we're going to do our baton tendus now in the centre. Now, when we do them in the centre, we've got to really be very aware of our balance. I know I keep using this word balance, but it's so important and it really helps. Ballet really helps develop your balance, and it helps you develop an awareness of it. I think that's the main thing. You're very aware. Are you leaning on one leg just slightly more than the other? Just tiny little subtle things, and it's when you develop that awareness of it, that's when it helps you gain greater control over your balance and your weight placement. Okay. So if we start off with our feet in third position, now, like I said, I always teach it as a mirror image. So if you want to copy the same as me, you're going to now put your right foot in front. It does make it a lot easier if you do follow along as a mirror image. So your arms, we're going to start off with this bra bar position. I did briefly say the word bra bar when we were at the bar. Remember when we did this little arm movement at the end of our baton tendus? Well, it's kind of similar to that, but we're doing the same with 2 arms. So barre bar is an oval shape. I'll just come a bit closer so you can see up close. It's an oval shape and your hands are about as wide apart as your face. We have our elbows pointing to the side. So we've got this nice space here. And what that means is that we're using our core muscles. If your elbows point backwards, it means that all the muscles have switched off in your core. Whereas if you bring your elbows forward, you can actually really feel the difference. Even in your back, arms, you can feel the difference of those arms, of the muscles working very actively. Okay. Keeping that same arm shape, lifting your arms up to first position. So it's now opposite your waist. It's the exact same shape of your arm. It's just lifted to opposite your waist. And like I said, that's called first position. If you open your arms out sideways, so it's like almost like a gate, kind of a big grand gate kind of opening outwards, then that's second position. Now, second position, it's slightly rounded in front of you. You make your arms nice and straight out to the side, and then just curve them slightly in front. Not too high, just a little bit lower than your shoulder, and that is second position there. Just to quickly mention, in ballet, we never take our arms behind us because it affects your balance. That will become apparent in a moment. So be very aware that your arms are in front of you. And I want you to think almost of like how a tightrope walker would use their arms. You know, you think they would have like a big pole, keep it out nice and wide, keep it in front of them. But obviously we have our hands placed very delicately because it's ballet. So feet in third position. So on the introduction, taking your arms first and out to second. And we're ready now to begin our battement views in the center. So we're going to point and close into third position. Point again and closing in. We're going to point for a third time, but this one, we're going to lift our leg, point it on the ground and closing in. Okay, now, balance again. So hopefully, because you're now very aware of where your arm placement is, that helped. Because as soon as your arms come in front, it means that your core is working, but just be ready for that lift of your leg. Generally, it takes people by surprise, and that's when it throws your weight back. If you lift your leg up and your weight goes backward, it's not going to end very well. So keep your arms in front of you. That keeps your core working, and just be ready for that little lift and close of your leg. By all means, if you have done ballet before, you can take that as a grand battement action. Okay, so let's go. Arms first to second. Tendu devant and close, and devant and close. Grand battement, little lift, point and close. We're going to travel to the side now using a transfer of weight. So we're going to point our foot, lower it down into our second position, point your foot, now close that leg in front into third position, and then we'll take our arms to barre bar, first, and back, out, same again, and a close, and a 2, and close, third one goes to a lift, and point, and close, transfer your weight through second, and then we'll just lower our hands down. Okay, so it's quite a steady piece of music. Can we just listen to the music, please? And you'll hear. I chose quite a steady piece of music so we can really think about our weight placement. So you're going point and close, point and a close, point and lift, point. Okay, so it's nice and steady. Don't think, because obviously I realise that for some of you this might be your very first ever ballet class. So we'll just keep it nice and steady. And also so you've got time to think about, are your arms in the correct place? Is your weight forwards? Or are you leaning backwards? Okay, so feet in third position. Arms first to second. And point. And close. Point. And close. Third one goes into that little lift. Be ready for it. That's it. Good and close. Transfer of weight. Lower. Closing from port de bras. And back out. And 1. And close. and close. Third one goes into that little lift. Keeping your legs nice and strong. And lowering down to finish. Okay, good. So, I always like to finish off my sessions with a little bit of repertoire, a certain theme. Today, obviously, because it's, the flowers are starting to appear in the garden, it's starting to feel a bit more spring-like. The perfect ballet is The Awakening of Flora. It is a little bit of a lesser-known ballet. It's done by one of the most famous choreographers, Petipa. But it's one of these ones that has sadly kind of been lost over time. The variations, the little solos, have continued. They get performed a lot at like international ballet competitions. But the ballet in itself is very rarely performed anymore. Beautiful music, beautiful costumes. It's set, the story is set around the Greek-Roman mythology. So we have Zeus in there, all sorts. But obviously, The Awakening of Flora, and obviously to do with the flowers. So if we can just listen a little bit to the music. By all means, have a quick drink while we're just listening to the music to begin. Just makes you want to dance. Okay, that's fine, thank you. So we're going to start off with our feet in first position. And if I realise that we, may have some gentlemen join us today, some ladies, it's up to you. I'll give you a few different choice of arm positions. If you had on your tutu, your wrists will be crossed in front. Gentlemen, you can begin with your hands in barre. So from here, whichever starting position, if you've chosen to have your wrists crossed, you can even give your arms a little breath there. Think like Swan Lake kind of arms. So we're going to take our arms out to a demi-second position, we call this. It's almost like an umbrella for your feet. So we're going to take one arm out low, the other arm out low, and then we're going to basically, I'll just move back a bit so you can see my arms, take one arm up and the other arm up. But as we take our arms up, we're going to gather our hands up. It's like we're saying, like we're beckoning kind of with that hand. So low and high and high. From here, we're going to take our hands down through barre. First, they're going to continue this time all the way up to a position called fifth. Opening out to second and down. Then we repeat again. Low and high and high. Okay? Low arm and high arm and high arm. Big circle of your arms opening out. Same again. Low and gather and gather. From here, we're going to take two walks coming forwards. 1, 2. Close your feet into first, and we'll repeat that port de bras again with your arms. Port de bras means carriage of the arms. Basically, anything where we're working specifically with our arms, we call that a port de bras. So let's have a go. You might want to move a little bit further back to give you space for those two walks forwards. But let's have a go with music, just for that opening section. So choice of arm positions wherever you want to begin. And low, high, port de bras, opening out. Let's go again. Lower, higher. Let's walk forwards. And okay, good. From here, we're going to go into two sways to the side. So we're going to first of all sway to your right, and then you're going to sway to your left. Now, you've just learned at the bar, you learned a demi-plie in second position. You now know that a sway contains a demi-plie in second, and it's another way for us to transfer our weight. Your arms, I'll just put that sequence to one side for a moment. Just put a little space between your feet, bend your knees, just a little bend in your knees, and open your arms straight out to the side. From your waist, we're going to twist round, and then we can swap with the other arm. So we're using our upper back as we're swapping our arms over. And there's a little bit of a release in that front arm, otherwise it looks a bit like a helicopter otherwise. So just a little bit of a soft lilt, but as soon as you hear the music, that will just naturally come. When we sway to the right, we bring our left hand in front. Sorry, I'm teaching the mirror image. And then we bring the opposite in front. So we're swaying. And we're swaying. So nice big sways, using your back. Really good for helping mobility in your back. Okay, so we finish with our feet in first. We've opened our arms out. We're going to sway. And sway. From here, we're just going to walk round to take us back to whereabouts we started the whole dance. So walking round, whichever way you want to go. Feet in first. And I'll come back to, then we're just going to put an ending onto it, which is very, very easy. So let's have a go from the very beginning. We'll just have a go with music. So wrists crossed or barre. And low, low, high, high. Use your arms. Same again. Low, low, high, high. Let's walk forwards. And your arms. Are we ready to sway to the right? Sway to the left. Let's walk around back to whereabouts we began. Feet in first. Okay, we're going to take 2 more walks coming forwards now. But do you remember this bra bar first to fifth and opening out that we learned at the bar in our battement tendus? We're going to add that in with the walk. So as you walk forwards, the same arm and leg is going to go together. And the other hand, imagine you're like throwing, some spring blossoms into the air as you're doing that little action there. Now, you may notice that as I'm walking with my big toe leading the way. That's what we do in ballet. We walk with our big toe leading rather than your heel leading like you would do normally if you're walking to the shops or something. So we're walking and walking. And then we're just going to step to the side. And do you remember this wrist cross position? Or hands in barre. We're going to step, point your foot in front, wrist cross, or hands to barre. It's up to you. And that is your ending position. So we've put together that little sequence using lots of different arm movements and leg movements that you've learnt today throughout your session. I'll just go over that ending again. We walk one hand, the other hand, and stepping, point your foot in front, and choice of arm position there for you. So don't forget that obviously this session, you can always, if you think you want to have another go at this piece of choreography, it will save in the virtual village hall afterwards. So by all means, you can always come back and have another go at this class another time if you want to give this little solo another try. So let's have a go from the very beginning now. So we begin with our wrists crossed or hands in barre. And low, low, high, high, port de bras. Let's repeat again. Low, low, high, high. Let's walk forwards. Okay, we're going to sway to the side, sway to the side. Let's go back round to the beginning, and then we have these walks like we're throwing petals into the air. 1, 2, stepping, and into your ending position. Very nice. Good. Okay, I really hope you enjoyed learning just that little sequence there. Like I said, it's just the most gorgeous piece of music. You just want to dance to it anyway, as soon as you hear it. We'll just finish off now with a cool down, just following along nice and easy. In the middle of the cool down, I do put in a little bit of what we call a reverence. So that is a curtsy or a bow. If you would like to take a curtsy, you can pop your foot at the back on the demi point, feet into first. I'll just turn to face the side so you can see. So my foot, it's on the ball of my foot. And if you would like to take a bow, then you can take a bow and stretch, and a bow and stretch. But I'll tell you when that comes in the cool down. So feet together, we're just focusing on our breathing, just slowing it down. Okay. And breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in and out. Okay, now into curtsy or bow. Curtsy or bow. Okay, let's just walk around like we did at the beginning, just focusing on your breathing. Breathing out. Breathing in, just same at the beginning. If you haven't got enough space to walk around, just walk on the spot. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Okay, well done everybody. Okay, thank you so much for joining me today. And thank you so much for your comments, so kind. If you've got any other questions or anything, please feel free to pop them in the chat. I normally go through afterwards and answer any questions that you've got. So thank you so much for joining me. Okay, thank you everybody. Bye.